Hello, this is Socrates Johnson, MD, here with my loquacious friend Rarharg.
How's it going?
And we've been playing some Company Heroes too, as the Russians only, at least in my case, because this game is a little unbalanced, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a little bit. The latest patch did some interesting things, making cover more important, and so it works a little bit both ways. But we'll see how it works out. Smart gameplay still wins over cheese strategies, and I think our opponents attempted to cheese us, which bit them in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the Germans just have a lot more winning strategies, and their late game armor is basically invincible in most situations. So your options as the Russians are very limited.
Yeah.
So they are basically the butt monkeys of this game. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll start. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Okay.
We're on road to Kharkov, I think.
Yes.
And the way it works is there are some open space on both sides of the map, here and here, but the center is a bunch of narrow lanes, choke points. So you can exploit that to your advantage. What's your strategy going in?
So I like to solidify I'm on the upper side of the map, I guess, the way it's positioned by default. So my goal was to obviously hold our fuel, which means defending that cutoff heavily. And if you can defend that cutoff, you can basically defend the middle, if you're smart, and the far right victory point. And so I'm usually pretty good about setting up my support weapons. I've gone for support weapon company, and I go for an initial machine gun, just so I can help pin down those avenues. But later on, I kind of do spam mortars, because mortars are great in this map, because there's lots of hedgerows blocking lines of sight, and indirect fire is your friend, generally, in this game. Anyways.
Yeah, I've done Special Rifle Command for mobility, because I anticipate a back-and-forth battle across this open plain area. So I started off with Scout Car, just to get some added firepower into the initial battles, and I'm going to go Sniper to counter what I imagine will be Grenadier and machine gun spam, which is a common early game tactic for the Germans. As you can see,
that's exactly what you go up against here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's our initial battle. We got some Grenadiers versus my conscripts. Fairly even until they're reinforced.
Lo and behold, machine gun comes in behind.
Yep.
And so far, it's been quiet on my side of the map. So this has actually bought me time. The fact that they're both concentrating on you initially a little bit. Actually, if I remember correctly, they did attempt to pull up in building, a 2-story building next to my point.
Yeah, that one, I can see it.
They didn't advance from there. They captured the point, but they didn't advance, which was a mistake on their part.
I have wired off this section here. It turns out to be not that wise of a decision, because they can still cap the point by standing there. It was an interesting idea, but didn't quite work.
Yeah, you could have moved it a cunt's hair, but it was a cute idea, I guess, but it didn't
work.
It prevented them from flanking through that area, which was okay, because I had my mortar up there at that point and was trying to deal with the machine gun nest, but I think I also ended up taking some pot shots at the Grenadiers there.
As you can see, their machine gun now dominates that center point, and we've kind of conceded the center for the time being, and I've pulled back on the left.
Yeah, so because you're very likely to go up against machine gun spam early on. I find mortars, especially the 120 millimeter heavy mortar that the Russians have, to be your greatest friend in these early game battles. Later on, maybe not so much. Su-76 or Katyusha serves the same purpose with a greater range, or doctrinal artillery, which I think you have is, you have the 152 millimeter howitzer, which is great.
Yeah, I don't build it until very late in this game, though. So they've been pushing me forward, and I've been kind of retreating back slowly, killing one of them, and just trying to buy some time. But it's fairly effective.
Yeah, and you're doing a good job screening your snipers with conscripts.
Yeah.
And
That's a mistake
I
I've been guilty of many times, just letting the snipers stand by themselves and get murdered.
Well, yeah, later on there's a fairly amusing situation with the tigers and the sniper, but...
Yeah. So here we've got this machine gun emplacement. I'm going to let the conscripts eat a lot of machine gun bullets while the snipers pick them off slowly. Because they've concentrated in the center, and have so many machine guns, in fact, they can't support their other machine gun with any actual mobility troops. Anyway.
And unfortunately, you didn't quite have the hit the dirt ability for your conscripts at that time. So
I've never even used that.
Oh, it's great if you're up against, say, a machine gun and you want to cap a point, or you want your guys to sit in a spot, your conscripts, that is, and cap a point or distract the enemy. So you have them hit the dirt, and they're very, very resilient against normal gunfire. Not so much against explosives, and they become more vulnerable against being run over.
Yeah. A clever little move here, I've moved my penal baton with a flamethrower into a building adjacent to a machine gun and burn them up a bit. Another way to get around machine gun arcs of fire. How is it on your side?
Oh yeah, on my side, they only really pushed up with a sniper, who I think got hit by a mortar on retreat. I think.
No, he's still alive. You can see him in the enemy base.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have the fire war on. What am I thinking? I was wondering why things were so nebulous.
So anyway, we have actually, despite that early deficit, solidified our position across the entire map, since you are so defensive heavy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's sort of the price you pay for going support weapon company, because until you get, say, guards rifle or shock troops, you can't really make an effective push unless your conscripts have PPSHs or something like that. Because this latest patch makes conscripts seem very, very squishy. Even more squishy than they used to be. But from what I understand, the patch punishes people for running into the open now, which we saw already in our previous game, going up against assault grenadiers spam. And they would just run their assault grenadiers at us, which used to be able to work, but now it seems to be slightly less
effective,
viable.
Now you can see both of them are pushing against me, which is an interesting and useful strategy for 2v2, is to have both players concentrate on one. The downside is that it leaves the entire other half of the map open.
Yeah, and I was also noticing that they had their scout car and their half track to support their assault. So I moved up my anti-tank gun there to give you some support. I was hoping to catch them with a bombard, but they moved out of the way. And then I precision strike this machine gun that set up right in front of me, which was great.
Oh.
Boom!
I may be a second behind you. Yep, there you go. You hit it. Yeah. No, you didn't kill it, but you hurt it.
Well, the second hit. The precision strike is a concentrated barrage, and the second hit just decimates it. I should have recruited it, but I never really lost any of my support crews in the game. So.
I got my guards rifle are doing God's work. I think they killed the half track and did heavy damage to the armor.
They actually had no whole blitz back there. I thought that was the half track, but I guess not.
They have a lot of stuff, but they're not using it particularly effectively against us.
Well, they also built a fuel cache early on, which is I mean, that's certainly a excellent idea. Oh, they grabbed their MG42. Huh. Good on them. That's a
Guard's rifle killed that armored car. Boom. Well, actually, it might have been your divisional gun. Anyway. We're in
yeah.
the
I
same
almost lost that
situation
guy.
we were
So.
earlier, where snipers killed a machine gun.
I have my heavy mortar at this point? Yes. All right. So at this point in the game, I have 3 mortars, including a heavy mortar, and that heavy mortar can basically reach the entire width of this map, a little less. So it's an excellent weapon to have in this map as the Russians. Did you ever upgrade your conscripts with PPSHs in this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
How did you find that to be more effective?
Yeah, that means they can, for short times, go toe-to-toe with grenadiers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having an issue here where my sniper is refusing to fire. A common thing in this game.
Yeah, supposedly that was also addressed in the latest patch, but I kind of still think that you have to basically use attack move with your snipers still for them to react to things.
Yeah. So you can see that the enemy is kind of in a bad situation because they lost a lot of manpower and fuel in that armored car attack, and so much of their actual manpower is tied up in machine gunners, which are not great offensive units.
Mm-hmm.
So they really have to work to get some offense going. And as you're taking the cutoff point with the machine gun.
Yeah, I cut them off from their fuel, which really hurt them because they were also relying on that for with their Opel Blitz, so they weren't getting anything from that. And then I moved that machine gun back to help support you because I knew that they were coming.
Yeah, they were actually flanking you at that point.
Yeah, it was interesting that they followed my machine gun. Basically, I did leave the middle open a little bit, but with 3 mortars to cover that little narrow avenue, I could just bombard the ever-living fuck out of it.
Yeah, I've upgraded to armor. I have a light tank, which is often useful in the mid-game to clear off support weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got a lot of grenadiers, so I'm not sure how long it's going to live.
Yeah, I did catch a couple nasty rifle grenades here, and I lost a mortar and conscript squad. But
yeah,
it's actually
conscripts are doing God's work over there. Their SMGs, as long as you can get them through the machine gun arc.
Oh, and at this point, they were really, really getting hosed by your light tank, and just getting kind of pushed off by that Panzerfaust. But
yeah, well, 2 Panzerfausts will kill the tank, or almost kill it.
Almost. It's down to about, what, 2/3 health.
What I normally do in these situations is take the first Panzerfaust and just keep hitting the grenadiers, because they're not going to recharge that for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Unless there's multiple grenadiers around. Then you're in a little stickier situation. But.
Yeah.
And here you've got some Panzer Grenadiers, but they're not upgraded yet. And your penal battalion tortures them.
Well, it's also because they're suppressed. Penal battalion is so good, so good. Oh, it's delicious.
You got a clown car with a flamethrower, or did you have a flamethrower upgrade on those?
Nope.
Yes?
I did not have the flamethrower upgrade my engineers. They're just too squishy, and I didn't have a huge surplus of fuel. I mean,
Ooh, your light tank is getting punished by that. Oh yeah, it actually went down to the armor-piercing rounds. That was a good use of that. That was actually really impressive. Yeah, the MG42 has armor-piercing rounds.
Oh, that explains why I died. I was a little unclear on that.
Well, it got a second Panzerfaust, which brought it down to below half health, and also really crippled the engine, and they popped armor-piercing rounds, which was good. That's
pretty smart, yeah.
That's a really good way of dealing with it. Of course, now you're going to take out that MG42 with your sniper.
Yep. Yeah, you just really have not much happening.
No. I was really just offering shelling support from my side. They did attempt, actually here shortly, to take my point with 2 Grenadier squads, and I shelled them.
I do have a larger tank, but I don't think it's long for this world because I run into 2 AT guns.
Oop, did you lose? Oh, you lost that T-34. Shame on you.
Both
Shame
of them
on
put their
you.
AT guns in the same place, and I had not seen them there before, so I was, and I wasn't paying enough attention, so I was busy with this firefight on the far left. So I don't go tank again for the rest of the game. Probably wise, anyway. T-34 is not reliable.
Yeah, they're not effective on their own.
They're just not effective in this game. They are.
Yeah. Well, especially compared to any of the German tanks, medium tanks. They're just not effective. I mean, even Ostwind, if handled well, can take out a T-34.
Which is odd because historically the T-34 was the best tank of the war. But, you know.
Yeah, well.
And I chase off their AT guns. Don't get the chance to kill them. But.
Yeah, now they're feeling the pressure, but they finally call in their first medium tank, Panzer IV.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I guess was a good idea in some respects.
What else are you going to do in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty solid anti-tank force, and you also.
I'm building up my infantry to be anti-tank infantry and to get a cloud of them.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen at some point.
I'm about to nuke that Vet 3 Grenadier squad here.
Yeah, nice. About your mortar.
And Katusha just vaporizes them.
I think I lose the conscripts doing that.
And I took a chunk out of the other squad. I didn't even see that other squad behind them. Oh, and then looking back on my side, at the same time, they moved in with the Panzer IV, drove it right across my mine. They really did a bad job here with that. They should have pulled it back as soon as they hit that mine. Or as soon as they saw that I had 2 widely spaced Zis guns, they really should have just retreated that Panzer IV. They just fed them veterancy right there. That was really silly. I do have to retreat my machine gun.
Yeah, because they set up their machine gun.
Yeah, I use my shelling abilities very liberally.
Well, this game, much more than the first Company of Heroes, just gives you so much munitions, even if you don't concentrate.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Although we did generally hold both munitions points. We never capped any of our points, I just realized.
I didn't know. I was never really starving for anything. Oh!
Yeah.
SVK3 quit. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he did rage quit at this point, which was a shame. I'm trying to remember if he was the guy that lost that tank. I don't think...
I'm taking my scout fighter on a joyride to capture the central point. I don't think it lives, because it got hit with a armor-piercing burst.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you're really applying the pressure. You've got their fuel. You've got their cutoff. You almost... Did you lose that guard's rifle? Yeah, you did. Damn. You took their cutoff there.
Yeah, they got hit with a grenade. And
I was being pretty damn passive, actually, at this point. I was just happy to let them charge into me. I actually should have just pushed up. And
I mean, at this point, I had units in a lot of different places, so I was having difficulty controlling them all concurrently.
I mean, they rolled out with, what, another tank? Good, that's now the computer rolling out with that tank.
Yeah,
and
we're
I think
squeezing them for resources. So. Oh, penal battalion, slaughter.
I think Penal's got quite a bit of love in this last patch, actually.
Yeah. I've been going them a lot, and they have been quite effective. I mean, they can't fight armor, but what infantry on the Russian side can.
All right, well, never underestimate a well-timed satchel charge. Whenever you have a tank with a crippled engine or something, I mean, a satchel charge will generally take out any medium tank, or at least horribly cripple it. It will immobilize tigers for the most part. I'm not sure how effective it is against tiger races or elephants, but actually, it would be a great way to clear out an elephant. Huh.
Yeah, well, fortunately.
Now, if you ever get up close to it, and rarely if you
rarely
go,
can you easily get close to an elephant.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I had what, a Katusha and my Su-76, which only had 1 kill. That's disappointing.
It did God's work, you know.
Now, it was mostly just a deterrence.
Yeah, and so they're actually now hitting me with multiple pieces of armor, including a tiger. So,
oh, yeah, and your snipers, did they get out of there? Or did they both get killed?
I don't know if they... I think they live, yes, but they're right next to the tiger.
Yeah. I was screaming at you at that point. I was like, get them out of there.
I was actually waited for the turret to traverse towards me, and then I ran so that it would have to take longer to shoot.
Yeah.
And they live. And I just built a howitzer, and now they run it with armor.
Oh, you're shelling the... Oh, God, I just noticed that. Yeah. It was a little late for me to... I moved all my anti-tank over there and marked it, but...
Yeah, it's okay. Fortunately, the tiger stayed in place for a while.
Oh, man, that took a nasty hit from your howitzer.
Several. And now it's getting swarmed by all of our AP currently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a great hit. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. They quit at that point, decided it wasn't worth it. Short game, effective defense.
Yeah, and they give up.
I mean, on their behalf, they, I'd say that Mikkel HT-12 showed some pretty good use of his abilities, his veterancy abilities, like the armor-piercing rounds on the machine gun.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I mean, in general, it seemed like the other guy was more keen on just tossing his guys into our defenses, but...
Yeah, also, I think they overcommitted to the machine gun strategy, which hurt them in the mid game.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't retake points once we took them.
Yeah. Even though they did have a lot of grenadiers, at least in the early to mid game, which only lasted some minutes.
Yeah.
Really, since 20-minute games.
Anyway, so that was a great little game that we played. We tend to get hosed about half the time because of balance issues in this game, but it's always gratifying when you can overcome them through strategy and tactical play.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was fun. Let's sign off. Say goodbye.
All right. I'll catch you guys next time.